So it's important you learn this. This is very key for your business. To survive in this industry, this is actually what you need. And then if you get this understanding, you're going to be fine. So quite often the question has been asked, I mean, if you're a biodigester constructor, most of the time you will get a call and the question will be asked, how much does your biodigester cost? Or how much does it cost to construct a biodigester? In my case, I'm going to do this video just to show you basically how much it costs to construct a biodigester and why that question should be answered not only based on the fact that the cost is what is involved, but also the pricing for your biodigester. Because from experience and from marketing and sales perspective, if anybody should call and ask you how much your biodigester costs, the question they're actually asking you is how much do you price your biodigester, or how much do you charge for your services when it comes to the biodigester construction. So I'm going to try and break it down for you to understand how much it costs me in particular to construct a particular biodigester. In this case, the large family size biodigester. How much is it going to cost me to construct it, and how much I charge for that service? I'm going to try and break it down for you in this particular video. So if a typical case I take is a job that I did recently quite close to my area, and then I had to do a soakaway as well as the large family size biodigester. It was for a 5-bedroom house, and then the cost inclusive of everything that comes with it. So then I had to give the owner the pricing and then how much I will charge for that particular services. When you are talking about the cost of a biodigester, you are looking at the cost, which includes what? The material cost, right? The materials you are going to use, one, two, your labor, the effort that you are going to exert, the boys that are going to dig, the digging that is going to happen, how much you are charging for the digester, and then what again? Maybe your transportation, right? I mean, it's also part of the cost that when if you are doing a calculation for somebody, you are supposed to include it in it. In my case, what it costs us to construct this biodigester is that we had to buy the blocks. We use the quarry dust blocks. We got 50 of them. We were doing a 6 feet by 4, right? By 4 feet. A 6 feet by 4 feet digester. That's the size. And we're doing the depth. Sometimes the depth depends on the level in terms of the gradient that you are coming from the house with. So it can be 3 feet. In this case, it was 3 feet. Sometimes it can be 4 feet. 4 coats of blocks probably will give you like 4 feet. And then you know where your level will be in terms of the inlet and where you are going to get your outlet. That's also coming in. So if you do consider these two parts, then let's say in this case we were considering 6 feet by 4, and then the depth was going to be 3 feet. So we were going to do the 5 inches, 5 inches solid block quarry dust. We usually prefer the quarry dust blocks. So 5 inches solid quarry dust. Probably you might also want to know why, but then quarry dust means that it's a hands block, and then it works well because in any situation, in any case, there is a waterlogged area or it's clay or the ground is salty, and then it does affect the type of block that you do use in that situation. But quarry dust usually have been solidified and there's quarry in it that has been mixed with the cement, and it gives you an added advantage in terms of the block that you're using. So we prefer to use the quarry dust so that we don't even have to worry plastering the inside or doing all those stuff that you have to do if you're using a normal blocks, because it can easily break. We are going to use 50 pieces of them, and then the cement, we're using 3 bags. We are using 1 bag for the top slab. So 6 by 4. If you are doing a 6 by 4 digester, you are looking at it from this point whereby you have to do the top slab in such a way that one can be 4 feet and then the other can be 2 feet. Or you can do it, so let's say you can do it 2 feet and then 4 feet for the large part. So in case you have an issue and you are supposed to come and open the digester, then you are opening it just to what? See the inside. So you put a clean out here, and then maybe the handle can also be here. just to pull it and see how the digester inside is going to look like, right? Or you can equally do it 3 feet by 3. I mean, there's no real science to this one. Or two, you can do it 2 feet, 2 feet, 2 feet. You can divide them into 3 parts so that it will be easy for you to lift them and put them on top of the digester. We were using 3 bags of cement, one for the top slab and two for laying the blocks, as well as doing the rendering, the plastering, and the final outlook, the finishing of the biodigester, how it's going to look like. And then we're using iron rods. We're using the iron rods. We're using the 12 mm 4. And then we are going to use the binding wire. I mean, binding wire, I think they have some that they have at is this 70 cedis. There's a 70 cedis one, it's just a small piece that you are going to use to tie the iron rods. When you cut them, you are going to have to tie them together and then use them as the base for which the concrete or the mortar will be added to it. And then we're going to use the wire mesh as well. The wire mesh we are using is the coated one. The coated wire mesh is simply for inside slab. The inside slab, we are going to use the wire mesh for that one. So in terms of the plumbing materials that we need a 4-inch pipe. 4-inch pipe, I think you need one, right? Because then you leave the outlet for the plumber to come and connect it to connect all the pipes from the house into the digester. The reason why you usually don't include the plumbing in your cost is because you don't know how many toilets are in the house. And even if you do know, you don't know where the pipes are coming from and where they are going. So you cannot do estimate for plumbing works. You're only doing estimate for a biodigester. And I think that's what most of the time you should do. Do estimate for your biodigester and leave the plumbing out. If the owner still want you to do the plumbing and you think you can do it, or you know a plumber you can recommend, do recommend that plumber and let him come and do estimate for the plumbing works as well, so that that one is separated from your work. And then you can concentrate on your core business, the reason why you came to that place to do a biodigester just for the homeowner. So you do have to have your 4-inch pipe. One is okay. I think now it's going for 70 cedis. The last time we bought some, it's going for 70 cedis. And then you need an end cap, 4 inches end caps, right? So in our case, we needed 3, and then we needed a clean out, the 4 inches one. You need one because that's what will go on the top slab, and then it can easily be accessed anytime you want to have a look inside the digester to see whether everything is working well. You can open it and have a look inside and see. You need a black rubber, the polythene one, the one that they use for construction. When you're casting the top slabs and then the porous slabs, you will need to lay them on a smooth surface and then you put the rubber there before you can do the casting, so that when you're lifting them, it's easy to lift and then it will not affect wherever you did the casting. It will also give you a smooth finishing, and then you are not going to have to do a lot of rendering at the final outlook when you're finishing the biodigester. So you need a black rubber. So probably how many? 2 years. You have them in bundle. So they sell some 25 cedis. They have the 25 cedis. And then you need your bulky material. So what we do is we divide them into two. We have the bulky material, which includes some of the materials that you need for the biodegradation, right? So you have your bulky material that you add to your cost in terms of the material cost. Then you can, depending whether you are doing some filtration or you are doing some charcoal works and you are filtering the water, the situation that you find yourself in. If you are going to put the water in the soak away, some of the clients or some customers or some homeowners prefer you do have that water clean so that they can do what? They can use it for something else, probably to pump it onto the vegetation or any gardening that they are having in the compound. So you have to make sure you filter the water. The filtration that you're doing in the digester is not enough to put in the soak away if you're not filtering that soak away water. So probably you might have to filter that soak away water. So which means that you have to do enhanced filtration. So let's say you're doing enhanced filtration, you're using bulky material, right? So 8, you're using bulky material. 7, okay, 8 is your black rubber. So 9 is your bulky material. And then you can do your biodegradation material, as well, and then your bioenzyme. Depending on the situation that you meet there, I've always advised you can do it without the bioenzyme, but there are situations whereby it's best you have enzyme as well, and then you add it to your cost. If you do not add it right now, and later there's an issue and you go and buy the bioenzyme at your own cost, and then it will go against you. So it's best when you are costing your biodigester, add the bioenzyme cost, the amount that you're going to use, whether 600 milligram or how many grams you are going to use, do add the cost to your biodigester cost so that you can have a smooth understanding with the homeowner, and then you can do that cost. So after the cost, then you can do your transportation cost, right? Then you can do your labor as well. So transportation, let's say transportation, depending on the location and the area in which you are going to have the work done, your transportation might be 300. Okay, so let's do 400 because you have to get the blocks in the truck. You have to get either the Boboya or the Aboso Camacho. There's those ones that they use that you can get one, and then you have to put the iron rods in them. So transportation, let's say 400 cities for your transportation, and then your labor. What I've also forgotten is you might need buttons. Wooden buttons is what you use to do your casting. If you go to the house after inspection and realize that there's no wood or there are no 2x4 or any kind of wood that you can use to lay and do your casting, then you might need to buy buttons as well. So those ones are dependent on whatever you meet. Some of my guests, especially in Kumasi and other parts, they have the angle bars that they've already cut to fit. They've done the measurement. So they have the 6 feet ones and they have the 4 feet ones. So whenever they are going to work, then they carry those ones along. And then that's what they use to do the top slabs. So in our case, we say our labor is 500 cedis. That's for the digging and for the maybe the mason that will do the work, right? So that's the labor for us. So when I finished with my calculation, what I got in terms of the cost of the biodigester was and is 3,200. So that's how much it cost me to construct one biodigester, one family size biodigester. 3,200, right? Okay. But if you do your costing based on this thing, you are not going to be in business for long. Like I said in the introduction, there's a cost which the homeowner is asking you and the price in which you price your biodigester. So the cost for the digester is different from the pricing of the biodigester. So when somebody asks you how much does it cost to construct a biodigester, what they are asking you actually is how much do you charge for your biodigester construction. So in our case, if we do the pricing of the biodigester simply by the cost in which the homeowner is asking for, then we are not in business. Our business will collapse within the next, not even 1 month. That's why most of the guys who are in the biodigester construction are now complaining they don't have work to do and they are not getting work. It's because they are only pricing the biodigester by the material cost and the labor that is involved in the construction of the biodigester. And if you do like that, believe me, it won't be long before you are looking for another work. You are leaving us and going to another thing. So please learn it this way. The cost of the biodigester is different from the price of the biodigester. So usually we say that price is what? Price is what the customer or the client is willing to pay. And that's based on the fact that you have done your whole background work. And you know that if I price my biodigester at this rate, I'm going to get work to do. And then if I do my calculation based on the cost, how much should I add to it to ensure that tomorrow, if there's an issue with the biodigester and the homeowner calls me, I'm not going to run away, which is what exactly most of the guys are doing now. When you call them and there's a problem with the biodigester, they won't come because then they cannot ask you for transport to come to inspect the biodigester that they have done and it's faulty and they'll have to repair it. But if you do prices in such a way that you do have something small to keep as your markup, then that one can go back into your business and it can be saved somewhere. And if there's an issue, you are always in business because then obviously you are making profit. The same as somebody going to get involved in this buying and sell business. There's no way somebody will go and buy a biscuit at 2 cedis and come and sell it to you in the neighborhood, in the area at 2 cedis. Their profit is on it. They put a markup on it. The transportation cost is on it. The price of the biscuit as well will all be added to it. Same as shoe, same as in every industry, there's a markup on the cost of what is that is being done. So in the same way, in our biodigester, and in my case, at Dreamhouse Biodigesters, we do add the cost to the price of the biodigester. So if somebody called me and they ask me and I tell them this is what my biodigester cost, they say it's expensive. because then they've got to somebody else and the person is only giving them the cost in terms of material cost and transportation. They don't even have transportation. In terms of the material cost, is what they are adding, and then that's what they are giving the homeowner. So it's important you learn this. This is very key for your business to survive in this industry. This is actually what you need, and then if you get this understanding, you are going to be fine. So I'm going to do the calculation for my case, and then you understand it very well. You can also go ahead and leave a comment. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up so the others can also see it, and then they can be part of this biodigester community that we are trying to form, just to make sure that we do a good job for people as well as have profit from what it is that we are working on. So our sale price, so our markup will be coming from our sale price minus the cost, which we done earlier, and we'll divide that number by the unit cost, which is what will give us what, and then multiply it by 100, and that's what will give us the markup. Don't forget that. So in our case, our sale price for the family size large digester is 4,000 cedis, right? And then we take out our cost price, which is what, 3,200. And then the amount that we get from this is what we are going to use to what to determine our markup. So we are going to get what, 800 cedis, right? And then we'll divide it by what, 3,200. What we'll get will be the percentage of our markup. So 4,000 minus 3,200, which is 800, right? Divided by the unit cost, which is 3,200 again, times multiply by 100. So how much did we get? We're getting 800 Ghana cedis. That's the difference between the cost and then our sale price. And then we are going to divide this same amount, which is 800, by the unit cost of each product, which is the biodigester that we do construct. In terms of the family size large one, we are going to divide it by the amount, which is 3,200. We are going to get what? 0.25. 0.25. So we are looking for the percentage term. It means that we have to multiply it by what? By 100. So we multiply it by 100, and then we are going to get what? 25%. So our markup on each digester is 25%. Our markup on each digester is 25%, which is not good in business. If you are in business and your markup is 25%, but it's okay, but it's not bad. Anybody who is into sales and marketing and in accounting will tell you 25% is not really good for a business, because people are making 80% markup, others are making 100%. And considering the level where we are now, inflation issues and all the issues surrounding the Russia-Ukraine war and everything that's happening in Ghana here, 25% is our markup, which we are okay with, because we know that, I mean, it also brings business and it also makes sure that the homeowner is happy with what it is that we are doing. So basically, this is the cost and the price of each biodigester if you are going to construct one biodigester. And this is how we do it. Don't forget, the biodigester cost and pricing are different. So when you are costing the digester, in some situations you go and construct the biodigester and the homeowner will tell you, by which materials you have used my materials to construct the biodigester. Can you take it out of the cost, and then I can pay you the difference? And then when you do that calculation, the homeowner will tell you, but you've only used 50 of my 50 of my blocks. You have used 3 bags of cement. You have used 4 of my iron rods. Why is it that the money I'm giving you is still plenty? So this is where you explain to the person that, you see, it's not only the cost that we are talking about, we're also talking about our pricing. The transportation that are added to it is not even for me, because probably I come there today, I did the inspection earlier for you, I gave you some advice on where to place the digester, and then we did the digester. After the digester was done, the plumber said he didn't get how we did it, so I should come back again. I have to pick another car and go there, explain to him where to put the pipes. The plumber will say, no, I can't do it. So when I bring the pipes all the way to the place, you should come and do what? And punch the digester and put the pipes in it. All those costs, you cannot quantify it, and then you cannot tell the homeowner ahead. So you do have a markup which you put on your digester, and that will cover all those issues that you are dealing with. And then tomorrow, if the homeowner calls you again to come back, because ideally, when you do construct a digester for somebody, you are supposed to be part of them. In everything that they are doing, you are supposed to be part of the whole construction process until the finished product. right? Until the house is finished and they're living in it. And even when they're living in it and they do have issues, they will still call you. When there's an issue with the toilets in the house, they call you. Instead of calling the plumber to see whether the lines are okay and the lines are not okay, you are the one that they will be getting the first call. If there's a scent, there's a smell in the house, you will be the one that will be called. So it's like the service we are providing is what you are charging, right? You are not only charging for the cost of the construction of buy digester. If you do get this one, then your buy digester construction business is going to be in safe hands, and you are going to be in this business for a long time to come.